If you're new here, my name is Jamie and I post videos every Sunday. I've been doing a lot of traveling this year and I really wanted to talk through a little bit about how I plan our holidays. I'm definitely the planner in my relationship with my husband and I love a good spreadsheet, okay? So I'm gonna show you the behind the scenes, what goes into my planning. Before I pull it up, I just wanna put it out there that my husband and I, when we travel together, we are not rigid, okay? So even though we have a lot of details, a lot of times plans actually change and we might not follow through with the day. So for example, if we see something on the street that we're more tempted by, or we just don't feel like it, or the weather is not looking so good, we might swap the days around, or honestly, we might just be too lazy and we don't end up going. I'm just gonna flash the spreadsheet, and I feel like it's important to begin by saying why I do this. So the why behind this intense planning of our holidays. So reason number one is that it really excites me. I love to plan, I love to do research, and honestly, it's a way for me to fuel my excitement for an upcoming trip into something productive. Reason number two, I feel like it's more likely that I'll be able to do and eat everything I want on my trip if I do a little bit more planning and I'm a little bit more organized. I really like to be able to look back on a trip and think like, yes, I did it. I did everything I wanted to do and it was amazing. I really do want to make the most of my time on my holidays and also make that money worth it, because sometimes these destinations, they're not cheap to travel to. So I just think about the money that goes into the travel as well. Reason number three, being a bit more organized really helps me to book things in advance. Sometimes there are restaurants that my husband and I really want to eat at because we're such huge foodies, and some places book months in advance. So I just want to be on the front foot. And there are also like tickets, for instance, to shows or to theme parks, etc., that I just want to make sure are kind of squared away and locked in. And reason number four, which is the last reason, planning really helps me set a realistic budget for the holiday. It also helps me figure out how far I am away from like whatever goal I need to achieve. So for example, if I'm planning out different spots on my itinerary, see that I don't have enough in my holiday fund, and either I have to change up my itinerary so I stay within budget, or I might think, hey, maybe I gotta save a little bit more aggressively between now and the trip. I will definitely go into a bit more of the finances later on. When it comes to planning our itinerary, I start with doing some intense research. I'm on the Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and I'm scrolling, and even when I'm not doing this for an upcoming trip, when I'm scrolling and I see something and I'm like, ooh, like this is Japan related or Korea related, I save those TikToks, those reels into the different folders based on the cities, just in case I'm interested and I know that future me will appreciate it. I'm also looking on Google reviews and I filter it by what's most recent. I'm reading those reviews quite closely, and I also like to see the negative reviews and see the kind of feedback that people provide. Sometimes people will leave negative reviews which are so unfair. So for example, it's like, oh, I called one time to make a booking and they didn't pick up, 1 star. And I'm like, damn, that's cold. So I like to just really see what the negative reviews are about. Obviously, if I see consistent reviews which say like, oh, food was terrible, meat was raw, service was horrible, blah, 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 then I'm like, maybe not. Another source that I look at are the top 10 lists on TripAdvisor. I find TripAdvisor is still a go-to for me, particularly when looking at tourist attractions and the big ticket items that we have got to do. For instance, when we visited Osaka, Universal Studios was in the top 10, and we were actually on the fence about visiting Universal Studios, and only because I saw it on the TripAdvisor list, I was like, yeah, we gotta go. It's a done deal, and I'm so happy we went. So I find TripAdvisor to still be very helpful, and the reviews there are also very useful. I also definitely ask my friends and my family who I know have traveled to those destinations, especially friends who are locals and actually live in that country, because they know all the hidden gems. So basically, in doing all this, I am assembling a list of places I want to visit, restaurants I want to eat at, and I start thinking about how to group them up in terms of location. So you will see in my recent spreadsheet for Japan and Korea, in the left-hand column, I basically organize our days depending on which area we were visiting. I find this step to be so crucial and so helpful because I'm thinking about the actual day of when I'm going to be there and planning the day in a way that makes some sense geographically, so I'm not just going from one place in one area to another. You'll also see that I have a column where it's just about the categories, the type of activities, so whether it's food or shopping or a pamper activity or an attraction. And I really do that because some of my previous holidays, I've gone on interstate trips where I visited a place and I planned like all the food, and then I'd be like, so what do I do now before lunch? Because I haven't planned any activities between meals. We're not gonna fall into that trap again. That column really helps me to see the diverse activities that I've got going on, and it also helps me think about my time management and thinking about what attractions and what activities I can realistically fit in a day. I will say Japan was a particularly special one because my husband in particular, he loves Japanese food, and this was his very first time visiting Japan. We're such big foodies that we created a little list of specific dishes that we wanted to eat. So for example, we wanted to try things like sukiyaki, Japanese pasta, etc. Honestly, I've not done that before, but looking back on this little food list, I am so happy that we did that because it meant that we were having such diverse dishes and trying out a whole range of food, especially food that we don't regularly eat. So I just felt like it added to the experience. I also had a little list on the side where I was just doing a price comparison for a pamper treatment that I wanted to get, because seriously, especially Korea, like, did you even go there if you did not get some kind of glow up? So I knew I wanted to get something like a massage or a head spa or a haircut or a facial. I wanted to do that, but also not break the bank. So I tried to do a little price value comparisons, for instance, comparing the 1 hour massages so I could see what kind of rates were out there. This also helped me see how many pamper treatments I could squeeze into my little travel budget. Now let us move on to the outfit planning portion. I'm really guided by the weather forecast and what it's gonna be like at my destination, and I just plan my outfits accordingly. So for Japan and Korea, I felt like that was also kind of special because I was really being aggressive about packing light. And if you know me, if you've been around the channel, I'm not a light packer. I wanted to shop in Japan and Korea, and I wanted my suitcase to honestly be as empty as it could have been on the way over there to maximize my shopping space. So I tried on all my different outfits, and with the outfits that I was happy with, I listed out all the individual items that I would include into my packing list, and I also wrote a list of all my different outfits and all the combinations that I could make with the items that I was going to bring. I actually did record a vlog before I flew to Japan and Korea, and I will link it in the cards because you will see this outfit planning process in action. Honestly, the Notes app on my phone is like my best friend. I use it for everything, but especially when I'm packing, it's so helpful and keeps me organized with all my different lists. And I'm almost nervous to show you this note, but this was from September 2023, and this was when I was packing for China and I was planning all my outfits. And honestly, don't make fun of me, okay? But this is what the note looks like. And I have the little photos of myself and all my different outfit combos, okay? If I click one, it'll maximize, and ooh, that's the dress. Oh, another outfit. Oh, she's a casual outfit. So yeah, these are like mini me's, but not only that, I also have the text version of all my different outfits. I went through a lot of thinking and prep. So I listed all my outfits and the items. In this column, I had what day it was, what we were planning to do. Because, for example, if we're doing something like a hike, I knew I wanted to obviously match my outfit accordingly. And then I had my packing list, which had all the individual items. And I love that it's the kind of list where you can actually like tick it off. My screen was so bright, but anyway, I know it's a lot. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. Do I love the process? Absolutely. Huge yes. I just like to be ready and prepared. And again, it adds to the excitement for me. Moving on to the next portion of this video, I did a little shout out on my Instagram and I asked if anyone had anything that they wanted me to address in particular. And I was honestly surprised because there were so many questions about how I budget and save for my travel. So I'm just going to try to do like a run through, and if you still have more questions for me, please let me know. I might do a separate video that's all about saving for holidays. So now that we're talking about finances, you might already know that I am not a huge spender, but when I'm on holiday Jamie, she's a little bit different, okay? She likes nice things. She likes going to nice places. I love to spoil myself on holiday, okay? It's like one of my favorite pleasures of life. When I'm on holiday, I am so stress-free because your girl, like everyday life, I'm just a ball of anxiety. But when I'm on holiday, I'm like, everything's good. I don't have a care in the world. I love to treat myself when I'm on holiday. I know this about myself. And the critical thing is that I am ready to treat myself when I'm on holiday. I always have a sinking fund going that is dedicated to my holidays. And you might already know this if you've seen my previous budgeting videos. But basically every fortnight when I get paid, I have an automatic transfer that goes into my holiday fund, and I do not touch that holiday fund. I really lock that away for my holidays. And I definitely set a realistic budget. So when I know, or when I'm even seriously considering a destination, I'm already thinking and looking into some rough prices for flights, accommodation. Those are definitely the biggest expenses. So those are the figures that I need to be most comfortable with to be able to set a realistic budget. So for example, my husband and I are planning to travel to Europe next year, and my holiday fund, she's already got some funds there for Europe. So thinking long-term and planning long-term about where I want to go and roughly when definitely helps me work backwards and accurately calculate how much I need to be setting aside every time I get paid so I can hit my holiday fund goal depending on that destination. I am quite aggressive with my holiday fund because we have been aggressively traveling. We take a lot of trips overseas and interstate. So at the back of my mind, I'm also saving up for other trips, which I haven't even planned for. So for example, last year I had a pretty spontaneous trip to Sydney, and I was only able to do that because I had, quite a buffer in my holiday fund that allowed me to do that, even though it wasn't really a planned trip. I was just having a career crisis and I wanted to get away and visit my little brother. My everyday spending habits definitely helped me to achieve my holiday fund goals. And it's definitely not like I'm all out like this when I'm on holidays. I like to splurge, but I also am not splurging the whole trip because honestly, I just can't afford that. So for instance, I might have a couple of nights at a really nice bougie accommodation, but for the rest of the trip, it is affordable, it's moderate, it's definitely not 5-star accommodation at all. So there's always a balance. And like in Japan and Korea, we had some really nice meals, but we also had a lot of meals at like 7-Eleven and cheaper ramen joints and all of that. And everything was really a balance. I sprinkled in some treats and some more luxurious experiences in our trip just here and there. Because, honestly, I'm a big believer in the fact that you can have incredible experiences without spending too much money. Some of my favorite food are the cheapest, like from street food food stalls, and there are so many activities that you can do at a low cost or even for free. So a lot of that thought also goes into my planning and my budget. But anyway, I'm going to call it there. I really hope you enjoyed this video or found it helpful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really supports my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!